as though, oh, reading is expensive, you have to buy books and books are expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can like read online, you can like read e-copies and things like that. And also, reading isn't only reading books. Like, you can read from news websites and blogs, you can read from people's Medium pages, you can read from articles from LinkedIn. There are different sources in which you can read and consume things. And one of the ways for you to develop that reading habit is to be really deliberate. Like, I sign up to people's newsletters so that I get notified whenever they have a new article and post, and then I read it. Or I follow some of my favorite influencers and creatives that I admire. So when they put up a post, I read and I'm informed. So reading isn't only in books. You can consume reading to many different formats. It could be through websites, it could be through blogs, it could be through newsletters, it could be through e-copies and PDFs. So you really have to change your mindset and thought pattern as to. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isioma Nanye, and my channel is all about all things personal development, women empowerment, lifestyle, life and culture in Nigeria. So for today, I'm talking about books. Yes, I am doing another video about books, but this particular video is about how do you really develop your reading habit? How do you develop a culture and love for reading? Now, books are my favorite thing. Books are a source of comfort to me. Books are a source of joy to me. Books are a source of entertainment to me. So for people who struggle to develop their reading habits, I'm just like, excuse me. I read a book or two books like each month just because I love to read so much. So I'm here to provide you with tips on how to really keep up with your reading goals and keep up with your reading habits, and how to really develop a culture and a love for reading. So number one of the best ways for you to develop a culture and love of reading is to really pick your type of book. Try to figure out what type of genre that you love. Now for me, I've said it many times, I love memoirs and I love self-help. I love memoirs because even though people think it's boring, me, I love to read about people's life stories. I love to learn about their experiences from childhood to adulthood. Of course, the last book review that I did was on Viola Davis's Finding Me, but I just love to learn about people's stories. I love to learn about people's experiences. It's so interesting and encouraging to me to see how people have transformed over the years and to just learn from their experiences. And one of my favorite memoirs is from Barack Obama, Dreams from My Father. I thought that story was so touching and beautiful, and I think I should do a review of that book, even though it's not a new book. It's just one of my favorite stories. And also self-help books. Yeah, I know people say it's cheesy, I know people say that it's just motivational, but I'm a cheesy and motivational girl, so that explains why I love the self-help genre. I think it just helps you think better about your life, your mindset, personal development and career. So self-help and memoir are my genre. I love those books and I always have a good time reading those books. So if you feel as though books are boring, you're not enjoying yourself if you're not reading books, then you have to figure out what's your genre. Maybe you're somebody that's into sci-fi, maybe you're somebody that's going to be into fiction, maybe you're somebody that's into all these different sort of like young adult novels. Maybe you're somebody that's into like all these Harry Potter fiction sort of world. So you just have to figure out what's your genre and then just go in there and dwell in that genre and have a good time being a nerd and reading, okay? And number two, another way for you to really develop and foster that culture of reading is to eliminate distractions. Yes, one of the reasons that we don't really appreciate reading is because we're in a very distracted world, very distracted society, and that's because we live in a digital age. And I believe that the biggest form of distraction is social media. Yes, I work in social media, and yes, I love to share my things on social media, but also social media can be such a big form of distraction. One of the ways that I try to eliminate distractions on social media that will enable me to focus and read more is that I turn off notifications. I've been doing this for like 3 to 4 years. I turn off notifications from my phone for Instagram, for Twitter and Facebook, because I felt like To be honest, it gave me anxiety to always be getting this little stuff. Somebody posted this happened, and I felt as though it wasn't really relevant and important to me in society. Like, it just felt like I was just getting these random notifications that were interrupting my day, and it didn't really help me to focus. So when it comes to reading, I feel as though what really stops people from focusing on reading is that social media can be such a huge distraction. So one of the ways for you to eliminate distraction on social media is to just turn off notifications. And that doesn't mean you don't go on those apps. When you go on those apps, you're deliberate. You're on the app specifically, and not because you're getting all these random notifications that somebody posted this or did that. So eliminate distractions. Number 3, another way for you to foster a loving culture of reading is that you can actually be somebody that joins a group. I used to be part of book clubs, but I'm no longer part of book clubs, and I might go back to it just to, enjoy the whole idea of reading as a group. But if you're somebody who doesn't enjoy reading on your own, like I'm somebody that since I was a child, I used to like get certificates for reading the most books. Like, I've always loved to read on my own. But if you're somebody that needs to be encouraged to read more often, then you should join a book club, because it helps to foster that love of reading. And they recommend books each month, they analyze, they discuss what goes on in the book, and it can help you to be more accountable and keep up with your reading goals. If on your own you are not very encouraged and motivated to go out and pursue reading, then you should join a book club. Now, another tip that I should have actually mentioned earlier is a way for you to foster and develop a love of reading is to really change your perception and mindset towards what it means to read. Like, reading isn't just sitting down and reading a newspaper. Reading isn't just sitting down and reading a hard copy book. You can consume words through so many different formats. You can be the type of person that reads ebooks, if you don't really like to spend that much money on hard copy books, because some people can say books are expensive and they don't think they are worth it. But to me, see, I have spent like 7,000, like 47,000 on a book. Yes, I've spent that the same amount you can spend on a nice new top or outfit. I'll spend that amount on a book, because I love my books. But if you think that books and things can be very expensive, then you don't have to spend so much on them. Maybe you can invest in a Kindle app. Maybe you can just be reading like PDFs online. So you have to change your perception of feeling as though, reading is expensive, you have to buy books and books are expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can like read online, you can like read e-copies and things like that. And also, reading isn't only reading books. Like, you can read from news websites and blogs. You can read from people's Medium pages. You can read from articles from LinkedIn. There are different sources in which you can read and consume things. And one of the ways for you to develop that reading habit is to be really deliberate. Like, I sign up to people's newsletters so that I get notified whenever they have a new article and post, and then I read it. Or I follow some of my favorite influencers and creatives that I admire. So when they put up a post, I read and I'm informed. So reading isn't only in books. You can consume reading to many different formats. It could be through websites, it could be through blogs, it could be through newsletters, it could be through e-copies and PDFs. So you really have to change your mindset and thought pattern as to what it means to read. Now, another tip for how you can really foster and develop a culture of reading is to really get yourself in the right reading mood. You have to get yourself in the right mood to read, and getting yourself in the right mood to read means that you are really in the right environment and you're in the right space. So Spine and Label is a bookstore here in Abuja, and they have like a reading space, like some sections for you to read. And I've been there before, and I've taken my book and I've just sat there and I've read, and I've really enjoyed myself and just had a good time, because I like to just be in different environments that will foster reading. So sometimes what you can do to develop a culture of reading is to put yourself in the right environment. If you're in a very busy, noisy, and crowded environment, you won't really appreciate and develop this love and habit for reading. But if you're in an environment that's serene and quiet and peaceful, I think it just gets those reading juicy those reading buds just like kicking in like that. So I think that the best places for you to read, it could be a bookstore if they have a section to read. I remember when I was in New York, and I used to love to go to to the bookstore Barnes and Nobles in Lexington Avenue. So I would go to the bookstore there, I would purchase a book, and I would sit at the very top, and I would just like have a good time. They had like a cafe section in Lexington Avenue, so I would sit and read there, and also just do some people watching, because you know it was New York. It just had this great view of like the city, and it was just such a beautiful environment. And I didn't live in Manhattan, but I just loved the environment of being in Lexington Avenue and reading up at that cafe, and it's just something I enjoyed. But okay, back to Nigeria. Yes, here in Nigeria or wherever you are in the world, just try to find the right space and right environment that will foster that spirit of reading, or even being in parks. When I took a mini vacation to Zuma Rock, I just really enjoyed like reading and writing in the park. Like it filled me with so much joy. I just felt like I don't know, it made me so happy, like I was doing what I was supposed to do, and it encouraged me to write more, because there are certain projects that I haven't really pushed forward in, but sometimes when you're in the right environment, it just fuels your spirit to create more. So just get yourself in the right environment. So to conclude on my tips on how to really develop a culture and foster that love for reading, is to number one, pick a genre that you love, pick the type of book that you love. Number two is to really change your mindset as to what it means to read and consume words and text. Number three is that you should try to get yourself in a reading group to encourage you and help you to keep accountable if you need that extra support and encouragement to read more. Number four is that you should just eliminate distractions such as social media that interrupt you from reading. And number five is to get yourself in the right space, the right environment, the right avenue that really just foster that culture and love of reading. So are you an avid reader that like me? What are some of the things that you do that help you to foster a love of reading? And if you're not an avid reader, what are some of the different ways that you struggle with really developing that love and culture of reading? Definitely share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And if you haven't yet, do subscribe to your girl's channel. Help me grow, help me blow, help make my dreams come true, please. Definitely, if you enjoy my content, do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.